Wherever two individuals are interacting, effective communication is the bedrock of successful collaboration. Whether you are a recruiter in a corporate or you working in a search firm, and you really want to learn and understand about importance of communication while you recruiting talent for your company, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Shambhu Agarwal. I am the founder of IndieHire. We are a talent search, staffing, and RPO company. Having worked in the recruiting industry for over 27 years, having worked on hundreds of mandates hands on since beginning of my career, during the entire recruiting process, communication really plays very crucial role. Whether you are able to onboard the candidate you are interacting or not, but it leaves a very lasting impression. In today's video, I'm going to cover 5 steps which can enable you to have very effective, collaborative, and a successful interaction with the talent that you are interacting or you're trying to recruit for your company. In the first episode that I covered, the communication with the candidate really started with sharing effective JD and sharing a company profile and giving some other small information to the candidate. Then we covered how we can give and elevate the overall interview experience for a candidate who has shown the interest for your company to be recruited for. The first and the foremost is that setting expectations and the time frame. So whenever you reach a talent, you have shared the JD, you have shared the company profile. In the first call itself, you can give a broad time frame to the candidate and also set the expectations that the mandate process or the selection process is going to last over next 2 3 4 weeks, so that mentally candidate is very tuned to that process. Obviously the candidate is not going to come and put a gun on your head if something goes haywire. It is always very beneficial to give some kind of indication so that mentally they are prepared and they are fully on board with you in the whole recruitment process. So the first one that I would like to cover is, very simple: set expectations. Now, having done that, the second one is that when you make the first call to the candidate and you're really discussing about the potential of the job opportunity or the career growth that can happen to the candidate that you're talking to, having shared the JD and other information, and when you have started interacting with the candidate, have a engagement with the candidate to pick up signals from the candidate that what really is working, what is the additional information the candidate is still searching for, which he or she has not been able to get from the JD and otherwise. So having based on those signals, at times you have to educate the candidate, at times you have to coach the candidate, and you have to do a lot of hand holding. Because imagine a candidate is coming, the candidate does not know too much about your company, and she or he has done only research based on some internet finding. Something coming from the horse's mouth, which is you as a recruiter, will definitely make a difference and invigorate the interest in the minds of candidate to be super engaged with your brand, your company, maybe get very engaged. And once she or he is selected, they will actually end up onboarding your company because of the great candidate experience. So the second point is, now having done that in the whatever communication, because I have seen from my previous experience on the mandate that I will work and will talk to potential candidates, I will end up speaking at least 4 to 6 times to a particular candidate for a particular job. And I will see that each call is very different. It is not very mundane and transactional. Hey, what's your CTC when you're going for interview? Can you make it this time, that time? But it goes beyond that, and it also helps you to gauge the depth of the candidate. So it is very important for a recruiter at this stage to engage very deeply with the candidate and get into this dialogue and fill the candidate with lot of these additional stuff and so on. In various those discussions, you actually pick those signals and share the required information as candidate is wanting. Now having done the second step, the third one, and which is very important, And I would say that this plays a very, very important role, especially in the case of if you are engaging with a passive candidate. This is about sharing lot of informal information and sharing few links which were not part of the corporate profile of the company, or which the candidate might not be able to find on the company website, or which are not written on the JD. I remember I was working on a very senior search for a VP, engineering and managing director for a company, and I compiled a list of at least 7 8 links from internet about that company, about the CEO of that company, that global CEO of a company, going beyond his duties of being a CEO, but how that person was deeply engaged in a lot of philanthropic activities. He came from a very rural village, and how he was able to uplift some of his fellow villagers through few initiatives that he took. And he had actually blogged in some platforms. I picked up the link from internet and pasted in that document that I created. So along with the JD, along with the company profile, I would also send that additionally after 2 3 discussions to potential serious candidates, so that they have additional points to really get deeply engaged with a brand. And believe me, that really helped me to create a positive image of the company, the CEO, the work culture, the HR practices of that company in the minds of potential senior candidates. And armed with this additional information, candidates got even much more engaged in the whole recruiting process. So sharing these informal stuff has to be done very, very intelligently. You don't need to get very personal. You don't need to share a lot of confidential information. Whether you are in a corporate or in a search firm, there is an NDA that you have in place, that you cannot divulge a lot of information to potential candidates for a job that you're trying to fill. So keep those boundaries, but there are a lot of information, other practices that you can always share. I'll give you another example. I was working for another senior level search for a managing director position in Bangalore. And that company actually grew inorganically by acquiring almost six small companies over last 8 10 years. So I quickly went and compiled a list of those 6 7 acquisitions. I picked them up from internet, and I put them, and I put one more line that how it has strengthened the brand or the product portfolio or the offering for the customers. A potential senior candidate who is being considered for a MD role, and having this information firsthand in compiled at one piece of paper or a piece of document goes a long way to instill the confidence in the candidate that this is the company they should be considering for an employment for. So this is very, very important. So I'll just cover this up. So this is informal links and info. Now, having done that, a typical recruitment process, if you are recruiting for a lateral position, it will last, let's say, for 1 week to 2 weeks. If you're doing a mid management position, the process will last from, let's say, a couple of weeks to about 3 to 4 weeks. And if you're really working for a CXO position, a process will last anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. And you have touched base with, if not tens and twenties and thirties of candidates. In some cases, you will connect with maybe over 50, 60 candidates. It really becomes impractical to have one-to-one interaction with those 50, 60 candidates, going, and, you're working on 3 4 roles. That number goes up to, at any point of time, 100, candidates. It is not humanly possible for you to have so much of one-to-one discussion with these candidates. You have to leverage technology. Now I want to really share with you all that how do I manage. So what I do is I leverage technology extensively. So suppose you are working on a LinkedIn recruiter. So LinkedIn recruiter, you can just shortlist those candidates who are in active consideration. Let's say there are 25 50 of them. There is a feature you click, and all the candidates get clicked, and single message, and you just send it to them. A lot of times when I'm actually working on headhunting assignment and few candidates are not on LinkedIn, and I headhunt them, I put them in a list, I put them on my Excel sheet. I create a mail merge feature. Through the mail merge, I am able to effectively pass on a lot of information to these candidates at one go, to 30, 40, 50, so that they are engaged. And I make it a point that every week or maybe once in 10 days, even if the hiring process is going slow, I will make it a point to touch base and keep the candidate warm by sending these one line mails or two line mails that what's really happening, or sharing some additional information if some development has happened in the company where they have applied. So you have to prudently use technology. Another method that I use when I work on some senior mandates is create a broadcast list on my WhatsApp. And because there you will not have candidates knowing each other, but you can effectively communicate to them at one go. So these three, four techniques combined will really help you to elevate the whole communication with all the potential candidates that you're dealing with. And it will bring a lot of speed, and you will gain not only credibility in the process as a recruiter, but you will be able to get a lot of respect from the candidates. And believe me, and this is coming from my 27 years of experience, few of them become your lifelong professional friends, or they become potential future customers, or they become the networking friends who will refer you some names whenever you are stuck on a very difficult search. So I will just pen this down. The fourth one is, so leveraging technology. So we will do a recap. As we know that effective communication in a recruiting process is the bedrock of a successful collaboration. So the first one discussed was set expectations and time frame of the whole recruiting process. The second one was educate, coach, and handhold the candidate in the whole process. Third one is that lot of informal links, sharing a lot of informal links and information, which otherwise candidate has to spend a lot of times gathering. And here remember, you don't need to get very personal. And the fourth one is that you have to really leverage technology for effective communication. uh, I really hate when I get a call through a robot on my phone that, hey, are you interested for a credit card, or are you looking for a loan? I really hate it, and I feel very and I really feel bad about the brand who made that call to me. So I am completely no for these robotic calls to so-called leveraging technology and giving experience to candidate. I think any level of candidate, whether it is a lateral candidate or a mid management or a senior management or a CXO, I think there are two humans are involved. And it is my personal belief, you may disagree with me, but it is always human to human interactions which really earns you credibility, respect, and successful collaboration. Now, the last one is very, very important, and this is the heart of elevating the candidate experience. Remember, when a candidate makes her or himself available for a job, they also know that there would be other candidates in the fray. They will have a chance to make it, but there will be competitors that they will have. They pretty much know about this. So they really don't care even if they are not selected at the end of the whole recruiting process. But what really they appreciate is that closing that loop. So closing the loop with all the candidates that you have considered for the evaluation and for the process is very, very important and crucial. So maybe a phone call, or maybe a very personalized mail, nicely written. And if you are keen to get a format of such email, you can write to me on the comment below, and I will try and share a format with you that how I effectively communicate with the candidates when the process is over. We have shortlisted a candidate, and there are so many candidates who didn't make for that job, and what kind of communication we kind of do. So I'll be very happy to share. So this closing of loop is extremely, extremely important. Just to summarize everything, elevating candidate experience is all about transparency, effective communication, sharing feedbacks, leveraging technology, personalized interactions, and closing that loop. This is very, very important. So I'll just write this. So I hope these 5 points are going to help you to elevate the candidates that you are interacting with, and you will elevate the whole experience. I would really love to hear your comments or anything that you would like to add, or if you have an additional points in the comment section below. I will be very soon back with my fourth and the last episode on elevating the whole candidate experience. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.